Hi guys, welcome to class 5 of the Advanced Resolve 11 fxphd. I was saying to Jim earlier, it's 8 years since we did the first one of these, or maybe 7 years, no, 2007 we did the first one of these classes, so it's good to be back. Obviously somebody somewhere is liking them. Hope you're enjoying this. I'm trying to impart a bit of what I think and what I like about the software is into exactly how you do things. Again, there's lots of ways to do things in colour correction. There's never always a right or a wrong way, and we all do things slightly differently. Speed is important. The way we do things today, you could be a really good colorist, but if you're slow and you take a long time, people say, yeah, you did a fantastic job, but it's a bit slow. It doesn't always work. You could be really fast but sloppy, and someone will say, yeah, it was great, really quick, the looks were fantastic, but didn't really match very well. When I looked at it back, I was unhappy with just a couple of shots. Again, not good, because you're unlikely to be asked back again. So what I'm trying to get at is just experience to get fast and good and creative and tell jokes at the same time, tap dance on the desk. It's quite hard. Takes a long time. Just because you can go and get this software for free and I can show you a few tricks doesn't mean to say you can't start practicing. One thing you want to do is just try and get any sort of project you can. Okay, if you're doing projects, you might be experienced colorist, you just want to know about 11, but if you're looking to move up, just try and borrow any projects. Maybe stuff you graded before. Bring them back, rework them, try them different ways. Get someone to sit behind you and play the angry client. That way you learn. I still learn nearly every job I do. Something different. Different type of client, different type of problem. That's how we're learning all the time. Windows. There's some new things in the windows I'm going to show you. So let's turn on our window palette here. You can have as many windows with that colour in, and we can see that colour there, like that, as you want. Now, you know this if you've used it before, so you can have as many circles. What not too many people do, they don't use so much mats and masks. So I could put that second one and use it as a mask. That means it's going to be a negative window. It's going to be cutting through the first circle that is working as a mat, and this one is going to work as a mask, like that. Now, what is new is that you can now change the opacity of that. So if I go onto this one here, and you see it highlighted, it's sometimes a bit difficult to see, but this is the one I'm now working on, okay, because it has that highlight. Now, if I change the opacity of that window, you see the red coming back through? Totally off. It's working totally as a block. It's blocking that red. It's working as a mask because I've ticked it. But if I change my opacity, I can just bring a bit back through. And if I go to this one, select that, and I adjust the opacity there, I can just turn the amount of red. So this is new. We used to do this in here, in the key source, by adjusting our gain, which was like an opacity control. Well, that was obviously doing the same thing. But now we have individual control, which is really cool to be able to do this on each window. I like this because I'm a big fan of adjusting with these opacity type things. To give you an example of how this might work, if I'm there, and I want to put this one, I want to put a vignette around everything. He's done his key on his shirt. I make a new node here and just turn it on around the edge. And they say, for example, round the edge of this shot, we want to invert, and I want you to make I'm using the colour balls like this, quite a greeny, bit of brown. Oh, that's it, yeah, I like that. Soften it off a bit, feather it so you get hold of the edge there, and they've gone, wow, yeah, I really like that. Can you just back that off 20%? How can I rework what I've just done? I just did it. I just feel it. And when you have balls or a panel, you just do a lot more by feel. It feels a lot more natural. So for me to reverse that, I'd more or less have to start again. But if I use this and I just go, well, I'm going to take 20 points off that, I can do that. Or I can keep going. And they'll go, oh, yeah, there we are. There. Always give clients that option. And they'll love to say, well, just split the difference, take a bee's dick off of that, or whatever they'll say. But they would do if they're in Australia. So do that. Good control, opacity. Come back out here. If I find I'm using this window shape a lot for a lot of my vignettes, yeah, I like it a lot, I can copy it. So what I can do is I can make it a plus in there, call it vignette. Could I spell like that? Okay. Go to another shot. There, tick it. Got exactly the same vignette shape. So find I'm using it all the time. I can use it all the time to work there. Okay, that is bringing back, copying a shape and using it again. There's another way I do that. I want to show that as well while I think of it before I forget. If you find you are always doing a similar thing, what you can do is like that. Here's our vignette, and I've got my certain amount of darkness and everything applied to it. Just check that it's right. It is working on the outside. Yes. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. This becomes my standard vignette, like that, maybe. And I'll do a heavier one so it's really obvious. Just pop it into your power grade library. Grab still. And somewhere at the bottom, you call this change label, was vignette. Like that. Any shot you go to then, any job you go to, it doesn't matter whether there's grades in there already, if there's already nodes, you can do this, and I may have gone on and done some more funky grading to this. I can then take that vignette, just drag it to there. And that standard vignette with a standard amount of darkening on the side will just go on the end of everything else. Go there, just drag that to there. That's quite a cool way of doing things as well. Quickly, while I think of it, if I wanted that, and I'm just going to back out of this while I'm there. Delete that one. There. If I want to select all of them, and they've all got different nodes in them because we've all done different grading, right-click, append the node graph, and it will pop that vignette on the end of all of them. It won't blow away anything I've done. It will just keep that vignette on the end. You can then have the choice to go through and change it, but it's much quicker than you applying it every time on the end of each shot. If you know you like a lot of vignettes, then it's really useful to be able to apply it that way. I use it quite a lot that way. And again, right-click, add the correction, will blow everything away here. Append, will put it after everything you've done. Let's add some new media, because I want something I can show you that's going to track well here. Let's make a new bin, call it tracking. Again, we can bring in our tracking V10 folder, slide that into there. I don't want the matte in there. See if we can remove the matte. Remove selected clips. I don't want that matte. So I don't want to see that Jeep there. Put him back up here. Okay. Let us create a new timeline. Make it empty. Another way of making a timeline is then finding the clips, my tracking clips, and throwing them into there. Like that. Now, if we want to track this as a Jeep going to arrive, and I would probably draw a shape around there somewhere. I'll just do a little primary balance first. Add a bit more saturation to it. Like that. Add a new node. Warm the picture. Looks really sunny, happy. Clip the white slightly with a bit more. Something like that, yeah. It's good. We need to track the Jeep and just make that bit more of a cooler white. That doesn't need to look as white or as warm as the rest of the shot. We could track it, yeah. So we do this, there. We make a new layer, Option L. That means we can get back to the Jeep. Now, I'm not going to spend ages drawing this. You guys probably be far better probably at roto drawing than I am. We don't have enough time. So I'm just going to do a very rough shape. Go around the wheels like this. There. You can apply overall softness to that window. You don't actually see the GUI change. So you don't see these grad lines expand like you do if you use here. I don't know why it's always been like that. So in and out softness does that, overall doesn't. Doesn't matter though when we're doing our track. Can leave that like that, go to tracking and track reverse. Slightly misses off the screen, come back to where you see all the tracking information here. Where you see these lines, this is where the track finished. That's where I started and I went backwards. Big, strong move on the green was panning left. I'm then going to go forward from here. Like that. I'm just going to stop that now. We don't have to keep tracking that. I've got to fix that end up there slightly. Yeah. So what I can do, I can choose to delete this tracking where it starts to go wrong there. In the three arrows, you got your three little widgets here. In these guys, these are all your ways you resets and you stop, as you know, but in here, you got these other controls, clear selected keyframes, gone. I'm then going to hand myself over to this guy. Before I do that though, I'm just going to add a few more points here, which I can do. Just tidy this up a bit. I know I said I wasn't going to be too particular, but a couple of things just worrying me a little bit. Add a little bit more overall softness. Like that. Now we're ready to animate that. I've deleted the tracking so it won't do that big tilt. Leave that alone for now. The tracking, come here and open this guy. And this is where you animate any of your shapes. Select color. That will mark up node 4. We are on node 4. This guy, sorry. There. Go back. Find out where it goes wrong. Goes wrong about there. That's where I'm going to have to start to manually animate as well. Turn on your auto keyframer there. Make a very slight move and it will automatically put a little adjustment in. I tend to use the keyboard here and I'll just move this like this. And you can move any of these points at this stage. Everything is live, which you can't do if you're using the tracker. The tracker will map the tracking overall, but you couldn't get hold of this one point and do that. So this is how you animate and track together. Now obviously I'm going to do this a little bit quicker here, but then I need to move these. And you can see the sort of thing. it is building a little nested of keyframes there, and so on. So to really exaggerate, to show it what I'm doing, if I was to do this, it's going to do that. Yeah, we are animating and it's tracking. Now I'm not going to finish it off, it's going to take too long. All right, I like that bit to there. Fixed. Okay, what is wrong with that? Okay, I could have spent a bit more time, apart from the dodgy rotoing. Here, that needs to be warm, doesn't it? It doesn't want to be white, and also I haven't graded the Jeep. Gotcha. Make sure you turn off this, because if you don't, you will be auto keyframing your color, and your color doesn't want to change. It wants to stay a white Jeep, doesn't it? We don't want the color changing, so switch that off. Go to your freeway color, for example, time in there, just lift up the mids, the gammas, the whites, there. We're much better for the Jeep. This is wrong. How are we going to fix that? What can we use that I showed you earlier? What type of window and what type of mode would you use to get that? You need the negative window. What was that? We've already drawn one of these. We need another one. Let's go in here, and before we do that, I want to copy its tracking data. Copy track data. Yeah. And then what we're going to do is we are going to add another one there, and we're going to do just a little shape like that. Again, I'm doing this very quickly, like that. But we do not want it to work as a mask. We want to work it as a matte. That. I'm going to call that window. You can name these guys. That becomes Jeep. As soon as you select it, it selects. There. Add a bit of feather. Paste the tracking to that one. Paste track data. Now, depending on where you started the track, you may have to get hold of that and just move it back on. But once you've done it, it should stay good. There. You can do that as many times as you want. So you might go, well, hang on, director wants silver wheels. Okay, you can have silver wheels. Option L, new layer, new circle, place over the wheels. Bring up the grade in there. Like that. Paste track data again. So you go to your tracking GUI. On your window GUI, sorry, that's the window. This is the one, that's the wheel. Paste track data. So really useful, copying and pasting, thinking about it, thinking about mats and masks, things we do a lot. What about, though, if we had an external mat? Director says, you know what, Warren, I don't think your rotoing skills are very good. Do you mind if we get someone else to roto the Jeep? Okay, fine. Suits me. I'm pretty slow at rotoing, but if you're getting paid by the hour, great. Suit me. I'll sit there and roto all day long, but I'm not that good at it. I'm much more useful for anybody color correcting. So let's make a version. Here's Warren's version. Let's make a new version, which is the external mat version. Okay, to make a new version, color, add version. How do we know it's done anything? Because here now says version 2 underneath the node. Right click on that node, and up here, version 2, rename. Call that mat. So what it does, it inherits what you had from number 1, which we can go back and we can call that Warren, or was, like that. And then we can toggle between them. So far it's inherited, right? So I like the colour that I've done, but I'm going to get rid of all that tracking that I did there that's not very nice. All right, but what I'm going to do before I do that, I'm going to do this. I will right-click, grab still. I always tend to grab still because I never know when there's bits out here that I might want to use. Okay, like that. And I'm going to delete the tracking off the Jeep, this one. So can we do that one individually? Go here, reset selected window, delete selected window, copy and paste. So I can't actually delete that actual one. I can just reset that window. Don't need it. So let's just do that one. Not all the windows. There. And let's try and see whether we can now, just by turning that one off like that. We've still got this one here. We've not got the other one. That one's still tracked. See if we can bring the external mat into this. Select the Jeep shot in the media pool. Select the mat. It's in tracking V10. Once they're both highlighted orange, you can right-click, add as mat. And you will see an association, but only when you do this. You can see underneath it, you have the mat attached to it. You get a little mat icon. That tells you it's associated with that shot. Come here, and we want to add that mat to this shot. So add mat, Jeep. Delete, not that one. Add mat, Jeep mat. There. And you should see a little shape of the Jeep. Now the fact we don't see this here means there's something wrong with that. So I'm going to turn off these other shapes here, like that, because that was covering over and covering up what I needed to do with the mat. All right. Now we've got the same color there, and we just don't have any of those windows. So what should happen now is when I play this, let's get rid of this. We don't need that anymore, do we? So let's do that. You just lasso that, delete all that information. That was being constrained by those keyframes. That's why it's popped back in there. So let's turn him off. We don't want him anymore. He can go away, because now we're using a mat, which is much better than what I was using. There. Oh, it's not that much better. That's basically because I made it. But you can see. Now, where do we get these mats from? If you're working on a VFX type show, there could be 3D elements, 3D characters. That Jeep could be 3D if it's a car commercial. Lots of times if you're working on a show like this phone, there could be a mat for that. You can bring that in. For the cup, if you work on any sort of product commercials like shampoo bottles, and there's mats in there. That's when you can use these things, and they're really useful. Save you a lot of time rotoing. Really good, really useful. This one, what I want you to do is this. We want to brighten this shot up a little bit because it's a little bit dark. And we're going to fix a track when it goes wrong. We're going to add a new node, and we're going to make it a little bit desat in there. Like that. And then we're going to use a layer, and we're going to say, well, actually, Pepsi commercial must be, or Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola red. We've got to see the red of that T-shirt, must match our product. or it could be anything. You know, anything we do, we have a hero grade. I'm just going to turn my saturation up a little bit more on that bass grade there. Lead singer, we create a really funky look, we must see the lead singer. Lead actress, it's very important that we communicate with our product. Car, shampoo bottle, singer. So I just want to key the red very quickly. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time. We don't have time for me to spend ages keying this. Like that. And I'm going to put him just in a little funky t-shirt shape. Just pretty quickly. Like that. As many points as you want. Remember, more points you start with, it's easier then to animate those points. Put it like that. We can then change that very slightly. Just quickly check out my key. Have a little look. There, a little bit rough, isn't it? I can zoom that up, and it probably just needs a little bit of twisting on the width there, just to get that in. And then I could start to go through and probably knock the saturation back. There, saturation low, probably on his arm. There. A little bit of this. So a little bit better. It's not perfect, but you can practice. You can get that perfect before you track it, all right? Need to track. Let me just turn off highlight and go to a normal highlight there. And show the window GUI. That's that. There, now I want to track forward. So I'm at the start of the clip, and I go in here, clip, track there. That tracks really well until this lady walks across the frame, destroying my track. Now I can see my track's gone totally wrong here. Don't let it keep tracking if it's wrong. Once it's wrong, it's wrong. You know, you need to then fix it. But what do? This is what you do. Reset your GUI back to here. Let's pull this over there. Now, go to the last good frame. There. Frame mode. Put a mark in. Puts a mark on the GUI there. You just see it. Play on to the next good frame. Out the other side when he's in the clear. There. Put another keyframe. So you put 2 keyframes and you're in keyframe mode. Look what happens when, I'll expand this up so you can see. Let's move my window first. Now there's something I have to do. I have to drag this back there now over him. So I've brought it back where it got confused and went looking for her. I've dragged it back and said, no, you shouldn't be over there. You need to be here. I can add points here, it doesn't matter. I can add a few more points. Then what I need to do is now look at this. See, I've got a spike here. That all looks a little bit nasty. I can go here, click on the between, and that will just make that now a linear move. If I can just stick that back here and show you what that's like there. All right, that will even this out. See if I can just drag this. It's made that linear now. Let's undo it. See that spike? That's because it went off the screen and I dragged it manually back. Using this guy, click that. So when I step back with the keyboard, it's not going to go wrong. I fixed it. Then I get to there, I put it back into clip and I track forward. And I finish the track. Now, obviously, if you need to animate this, which you may well do, we did that earlier on the Jeep, didn't we? Don't do that here. You need to start animating something, open this up, and go to where it slightly goes wrong, or you need to mask it in a little bit more, and open up. So she's gone across. Occasionally somewhere in there it bounces through the edge of his t-shirt. So I need to just open up somewhere there. Turn on this auto keyframer and that will detect what we move. So as soon as I make a little move, put some mark in, step on and go like this, move that. There. I said put a few keyframes in because at this stage you cannot add a keyframe. So it's marking our keyframes. Now there I've lost a bit of his t-shirt. If I then went on here and went, oh, I need another keyframe, I'm going to add one there. It will let me do it, but look what happens when I go on or I go back, it will just snap. It won't animate to that point because it cannot animate from 10 keyframes to 11. How does it get from the 10th to the 11th? It will snap. All right, so you cannot do that. So always start with more than what you need. Tracking, and I know I've said this before, is like keying. It's practice. So when a client says, oh, we had a real drama, got the wrong wardrobe, guy picked up the wrong t-shirt, light was good, couldn't change it, can you change the colour of that t-shirt? And it's probably the first thing they say to you before they say, hello, how are you? You need to go, yes, I can do it. It will take me 10 minutes, 15. I could track it, or no, too hard, needs to be painted. I know we can never say for sure, but we always say, yeah, we'll try that, and I'll give you some options. And you give them a few different of how much you can grade it and change it. But never push it too far, even if they're pushing you to do it. If it doesn't look right, or it looks noisy, or you're not sure, then back off, because you'll be the one that will, you'll carry the can if it gets wrong or it gets rejected or someone doesn't like it. So the rule of it is, the more you do it, the more you will likely be to say, yeah, I can do that. I can track that, no problem. Yeah, doesn't matter that she's coming across frame. And if you've looked at the clip beforehand, you know that she's going to come across the frame. There's going to be a problem there. Again, beware. I've left this on and now I'm making some slight movements. It's merrily making keyframes. Director then says to me, Warren, I think we can change the colour of that t-shirt. Yeah, that's easy, I say. Come in here, change the hue slightly. Oh yeah, that's not bad. What other colours have you got? What about when it go close? No, let's make the t-shirt a blue. Swing the hue. Oh yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Push the luminance on that a little bit. Play back. Well, why is the t-shirt changing? I haven't done any. I only want it to be blue. Look at your arrow here and you are automatically keyframing any of these things. That's why I said when you finish with it, turn it off. If you've done that and you realise by turning on the arrow in node 4, you can hold down shift and lasso these and delete them. Like that. Looks like I deleted the whole thing. Right? Just delete the ones you want to delete. Not power curve. I just want to delete the color correction one. There. Just delete that. All right, then your shape will stay. The only thing that will go is the color. Have fun practicing. Bring the shots in and keep practicing. You will get quicker. But I want you to practice how you break a track, then how you repair it, and also when you see her here, I want you to also track her. So when you've fixed him up, track her and get her off the screen, off and on the screen. Okay, so give her a little grade. Practice tracking that off. You may like to do it here, or you may want to do it in the tracker. It's up to you. Practice both ways. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.